Bertong Kuna!
Dariong Dagol!
Ano tong balitang pinagkakalat mo dito sa balwarte ko, ha?
Anong balita?
Huwag ka na magmaang-maangan pa!
Ayun ba? Ha? Hindi ba totoo naman? Nasabi ang lunas sa COVID. Alam mo ba kung nasa naman kang mayong? Nasa naga talaga yun. At higit sa lahat, fake news talaga yung ads sa revolution.
Ungas ka ba? Ano ba pinagsasabi mo? Saan mo pinagkukuha yan?
Huh, syempre, nag-research ako, no? Sa Tuktok University. Palibasa kasi ugot ka na at laos, kaya hindi mo alam yun. Ano, ha?
Lord naman! Magpaulan ka naman ng katalinuhan!
Reliable source of information, sari-saring content na isinulat ng mga eksperto, mga librong di kalidad na abot hanggang sa doomsday, tumawag ka lang sa akin. By the way, hindi ako si Lord. Ako si Vimal.
O pre, tingnan mo to. Di ba sabi ko sa'yo totoo ang EDSA Revolution?
Oo nga, no? O tapos ito, wala pala talaga sa Naga ang bulkang Mayon.
Sabi ko sa'yo eh.
Good day, Kabibal, and welcome to our YouTube Live. For the discussion today, the topic will be on recalibrating teaching strategies, differentiation, and blended learning modality. Before we begin, please take note of the following reminders. Make sure you're registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.bivalgroup.com or eturo.org to generate your proof of attendance. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to all our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal! And now, to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Mr. John Brian Guerruela is currently the Strand Coordinator of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics and the part-time college instructor at Immaculada Concepcion College in Tala, Caloocan City. Mr. Garuela received his bachelor's degree in secondary education, major in general science, minor in mathematics at the University of Caloocan City in 2015. He successfully passed the Board of Licensure examination for professional teachers last September 2016. He is currently taking his postgraduate studies entitled Master of Arts in Teaching Science at the same school. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Brian Geruela.
A pleasant day to everyone. I'm Sir John Brian Giruela, the Senior High School STEM Strand Coordinator and a college part-time instructor at Immaculada Concepcion College here in Tala, Caloocan City. I am so delighted to share to you, fellow educators, a topic that is relevant to all of us. Although apparently we are getting back to normal since hence designing the blended learning modality that we surely adapt for a very long time. And we as teachers, we should be adaptive, we should be flexible. During the pre-pandemic era in education, it has been proven that differentiation or differentiated instruction is beneficial and effective for different types of learners. It also provides us and the learners the opportunity to be successful with their ability levels, no, while still providing growth opportunities, no, not just for them but also for us. It really works because it is student centered, and educators use a variety of assessment to understand individual students' abilities and interests so that they can design educational materials that are relevant, that are engaging, and appropriate. In turn, meeting the demands of 21st century in education. Now, contextualizing differentiation to blended learning modality may be difficult as it seems, but it's surely possible. So I'm here to provide you with some ideas on how it should be done. But before anything else, let's set some guiding stars to provide us the direction all throughout our session. And at the end of this webinar, you are expected to describe the differentiated instruction that is imperative in the teaching learning process, articulate ways to differentiate instruction, and in blended learning modality, and comprehend the importance of differentiation to associate in blended learning modality. I hope everyone's ready, so let's formally begin. And going back to the title I have shared on my first slide, recalibrating teaching strategies, differentiation in blended learning modality. In adapting to the new normal of digital classrooms or online classrooms, virtual classrooms during these trying times in education, our primary focus was simply to move the curriculum entirely online or virtual. But now, yan, we are looking at ways to adapt their our lessons to this kind of a paradigm shift to make class time more engaging and more effective. We as educators as well are really well aware that students learn in different way and in different paces, but the idea of providing a personalized learning experience for students, and here's the challenge, in a digital classroom may seem like daunting or discouraging, but like what I've said earlier, it's possible. So our task, it's like at first we have to dig deep into the digital and an online world, right? And in fact, we have to modify ways on how to engage different types of learners through a personalization, and it doesn't necessarily require an entire shift in the paradigm in education. And while taking a more personal approach might look a bit different online than it was in a traditional classroom, there are a variety of ways to adapt teaching methods and approaches for the online world that meets the demand of our learners on any kind of intelligence that they may have, and also their personality, like them being introverts or extroverts or ambivert or something. And what's good about this differentiation or the blended learning is that it will capture their attention and keep them from drifting out or drifting off during the online classes. But before we head on to that, let's chunk this title by describing the different terms being incorporated to it. And the first term is recalibrate. So recalibrate means to re-examine. Okay? The term is re-examine. Okay? Re-examine one's thinking, system of values, plan, and the like. And aligning it in accordance with a new understanding or purpose. So recalibration is like using what you have learned as teacher, as per your experience, to reassess and to adjust your approach to teaching. Also, we have teaching strategies. So teaching strategies are the methods, the techniques, procedures, and processes that we use during the teaching and learning process or during the instruction. It is like recognized generally that teaching strategies are multidimensional, and their effectiveness depends on the context in which they are applied. And with that, we can learn that there is no single strategy that can guarantee a student's outcome that are better than what we have expected. However, there are a lot of research revealed that a number of practices that enable learning among students. Also, the effect of the teaching strategies is also influenced by how we teachers adapt and applies the right strategies to deal with our target classroom and to help them learn the desired course or content and achieve the intended learning outcomes that we have set each and every day. So the intended learning outcomes should guide which which approach is better fitted to the achievement of those outcomes. Again, teaching strategies. On the other hand, we have differentiation. So differentiation is refers to here a variety or a wide variety of teaching techniques and lesson adaptations that we educators use to instruct a designed group of students. With those students have diversity in terms of their learning needs or learning styles in the same course of the classroom or in learning environment. So when it comes to engaging all our students, we have perhaps realized that students learn in different ways, and it has been proven. Some may work best when engaged in group work, and while you may find others perform better when working individually or working alone. If that's the case, the differentiation or differentiated instruction or assessment or differentiated learning, that is a must for us, right? Is a must to understand, to reach the students through different ways on how they would learn. On some references, differentiation is commonly used in heterogeneous grouping. Heterogeneous grouping is an educational strategy wherein our students of different abilities, learning needs, and level of academic achievement are grouped together. No, it's similar to the structure of our classes here in the Philippines, right? In heterogeneous group classroom, for example, the teacher may alter or may modify instructional strategies, and he or she might use more flexible designed lessons, to engage students' interest and address the learning needs, that are unique among learners. And it's it's something now, for us teachers, because our students have, all of them have their own distinct learning needs, right? It varies, like it varies from learning or from learner to learner. So the basic idea that the primary educational objective that we are setting is that making sure that all our students master or have at least a proficiency to the essential knowledge, concepts, and skills remain the same, for every student. But to achieve that, teachers may use different instructional methods, that may help students meet all of those expectations. And lastly, we have blended learning. So blended learning is a thing that we are getting used to or being accustomed now, wherein it refers to the use of traditional classroom teaching methods together with the use of online learning for the same students studying the same content in the same course or the same program. So in line with this, learning that is provided, through both online experiences and face-to-face learning that connects, the two learning experiences to provide an integrated learning model. So it's another way on how to describe blended learning. And in other words, blended learning is an umbrella term that applies to the practice of providing instruction and learning experiences through some combination of both face-to-face and online or technology associated learning. So during the technology mediated components, no, of these learning experiences, students are not required to be physically together in one place, no, but may be connected digitally through online communities. And again, to reiterate, blended learning is a practice of providing instruction and learning experience through combination, okay? Again, combination of face-to-face and online, okay, modalities. And here, I'll be providing you models of blended learning. Generally, it can be divided into three models that you are seeing here. The first model is the blended presentation and interaction, wherein classroom engagement is a primary component. Then it will be supported from out of class or online experiences or exercises. So the common model or the common approach to describe it or to serve as an example is the flipped classroom, no, or flipped curriculum, no, wherein the students prior to instruction are giving online resources independently, and then afterwards when they go to class, there no the interaction will take place synchronously. Okay. Then the second one here is the blended block model. So the model at the center, in which there's as you would notice there, there's a sequence of activities or like blocks that are assembled or puzzled to incorporate both face-to-face learning and online. So usually, with consideration for both pedagogical goals and depending on the practicality. So for example, there's a certain subject for that or a course that is distributed no, um geographically, among learners or working professionals may have limited opportunities for classroom based learning, and therefore they begin with a block of intensive face-to-face sessions, then followed by online, then also face-to-face again, group presentations and the like. Okay. Then the last model on the rightmost part is it's fully online, no, but still may be considered blended if there is an incorporation with both synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. Synchronous like online, or a real-time online discussion, and also asynchronous activities that are provided to them after the real-time instruction. So blended learning covers like one like these situations or scenarios. So blended learning can be combining instructional modalities, combining instructional methods, or combining online and face-to-face instruction. Either of those, it will be categorized or it will fall under blended learning. Okay, now that we have chunked all the terms that were incorporated for my title, so now, since our focus entirely is on differentiation, let's have a thorough approach to it. Yeah, providing another definition of differentiated instruction or differentiation, and yeah, it's also known as differentiated learning. It's a teaching philosophy, that considers the needs of all students, even they are in the same classroom. Okay, it means that the teaching materials, assignments, and assessments not take into account diverse learning styles, as well as other factors, like their gender, cultural background, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, personal interests, multiple intelligences, and the like. So, in other words, a differentiated classroom or instruction provides different avenues to acquire the content, to process or making sense of the ideas, and developing products, or projects, so that each student can learn effectively. But some common misconception about differentiated instruction or differentiated learning is that that term has been used synonymously to individualized instruction, which is not. Okay? While considering that it's reliant on individual needs, okay, differentiation doesn't mean that you have to come up with a lesson plan to every learners or to each individual students, and thinking about that, it's very tiring, it's very exhausting, on our part. So instead, please be reminded that differentiation is an advocacy, no as an as a teaching philosophy, that you know uh although it relies to the students, as individuals, it doesn't assume a separate assignment to each learner. It's like it's developing our flexibility, wherein the student behavior is more focused and more productive. No? Some key benefits to this approach include boosting student engagement and also enhancing their drive to learn, while also allowing them to take more responsibility for their learning. Okay? And through that approach, this can benefit a variety of learners, on any academic, or standing or rating that they may have. And like, for example, a learner who used to receive, average grades, may thrive in an environment where they can adapt learning, not to their preferences and interest. Likewise with learners who are high achievers and low achievers. Okay. Also, some instruction or some teachers or instructors, yeah, might worry that planning the lessons, with differentiated instructions will be a time consuming task. It's right, in a way that if we don't have much idea on how is it done. Okay? Kasi considering the fact that it's it offers flexibility to all our learners, and considering all their needs in upon learning, it may be laborious on our part. no? And especially now, no, in these trying times, no, as we face the adversity in education, no, like if we are going to adapt differentiation in digital classroom, no, or in blended learning, no, it is something, no, that might, you know, caught us. Okay. And it's something, no, that makes us worried upon, no? And with that, no, it's I understand, no, where all, no, teachers are coming from, especially when thinking about this, no? But although it require more preps, but it will be surely worthwhile. Okay. Also, differentiation lends itself well to the online world. And as we try to make classes more interactive and engaging to students, and you can integrate, no, personalized instruction through classroom activities naman, and by using, online learning tools, no, that are many, that are plenty, no, just by navigating the internet, no, you can find a variety of online learning tools, no, that are probably, no, known by our students rather than us. And to understand how to apply the approach of differentiation in online classroom modality, it is important for us first to understand, those key pillars of differentiation. And it has four. And we have the content, we have the process, we have the product, and learning environment. So let's get into all of those one by one. So again, the key pillars of lesson design for differentiation. Like what I have mentioned earlier, our number one, or the first pillar, belongs to content. And content involves content, using a diversity of materials and teaching methods, uh, to cover, the course content. Uh, With that, some of our students, might be somewhat familiar with the concepts in a lesson, no, while others might be unfamiliar. No, some may even show the sign of early mastery. So here, differentiating the content means we are using, or we have to use, different materials and teaching methods to aid our learners at all levels of comprehension, no, without compromising the performance standards. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that the content remains consistent, no, but how the students access the content could be differentiated. All right. Next in line would be processes. Processes relates to the learning activities that help students master the course content. That it could be tiered assignments where different learners are offered, different levels of challenges or complexity. Or it could involve a variation of the time frame that it would take, different students, to accomplish a certain task. Referring to the process or the systematic approach on how is it done, you can offer, some options, like integrating different online tools, or you can vary individual studies, with group works, to at least touch, a variety of learning styles. Next is product. A product it's the product or the outcome, like the reports, the projects, the test assignments, and the like, wherein learners demonstrate or manifested their mastery of content, based on their learning preferences. Okay? And remember, for some students, that has different pacing or learning preferences, demonstrating knowledge, is it best achieved, with a single type of assessment. Okay? With this, learners could be provided with a choice of assignments, like creating a video, writing a blog, and developing podcasts, or building a model. Okay, or it could be on the technical part, no, because, and we cannot deny that some students will prefer this method. No, what I'm trying to say here is that, no, we have to set, no, a variety of tools, no, to assess, no, their learning capabilities through a variety of tasks that we organize, no, being chosen upon their choice. Okay, and again, that's product. And lastly, of course, the learning environment. Okay, learning environment creates the conditions for optimal learning in the classroom. The learning environment could include the physical, the online or digital layout of the classroom, no, to the overall atmosphere. Okay, so again, those are the four pillars and of learning, yan, in terms of differentiation. Okay. Now, moving forward with the differentiated instructional strategies, that we can offer, to our learners. So for some students, one particular task doesn't apply to them, but apply to some, like giving an online presentation in front of their classmates. At some, or for some learners, that could be terrifying, even though it's online. Okay, and others, might find it as an opportunity. That's a better opportunity, to unlock their self confidence in sharing, themselves, their insights, their inputs with the class. Okay, that's why the idea of differentiation blends individual, blends small group, large group, and also the entire class instruction, across the pillars, the content, processes, and products. And also, it takes into account, the 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 readiness of the learners, their profiles and learning interests. So what I'm trying to say here is that for it to be successful, you have to assess first, your students. You have to know, you have to identify, you have to sort them very well, in line with how they would learn best, what are their different learning styles, learning profiles, and what might catch their interest, to the content that you are about to teach. And also, yeah, since it's blended learning, there's still rooms for traditional lectures, and of course the online classroom discussion, particularly when covering, the basic course material. But the differentiated instruction can be applied to your online classroom, or your to your blended approach, in ways that that will engage learners, while helping them meet the objectives of your subject. In unpacking the differentiated instruction, it's very helpful for us and educators to understand what it is, okay, and what it isn't. Okay. Again, differentiation doesn't mean that you know um, a particular group of learners can advance. Okay, but it could mean that grouping students around, or relying on their strengths, weaknesses, so that they can all learn from one another. Okay? It's also a good idea to avoid distinguishing students based on their pace of learning. Like a fast-paced student might have only a superficial understanding, while a slower paced learner might have a greater facility with the same concept and a greater ability to apply the knowledge. So in this case, the faster paced student might have a lot to learn from the slower paced student. no and with that, here is how we differentiate instruction to meet a variety of student needs, whether in face to face, in online, or generally in blended learning modality. First is the tiered assignment. So in here, yeah, we should assign groups of students to specific tasks according to comprehension. No, they meet the same learning goals, but at different levels of challenge and complexity. That's why it is termed tier, or tiered assignment. Okay, like what you are seeing here on my presentation, yan, an illustration on how to on what on the usual tier instructional model that we can apply. Okay, like for tier 1, it's on the base, yeah, and designed for our learners and meet the needs of 80%. Then for the tier 2, yeah, designed to provide strategic targeted extensions. And for the tier 3, yeah, the designed as intense intervention and extension to meet individual needs. Okay, so in here, in addition, students can be grouped according to challenge level, where different groups tackle different assignments, or they can tackle different complexity, no where we're in different groups tackle the same assignment, but they have, the assignment has a different degree. Also, we can device and group work, yan, based on learning styles. So after teaching a lesson, yan, through online modality, yeah, you can have a breakout room for groups. Okay, and prior to that, you assessed their learning styles, rather than their ability. Okay, and just what I mentioned earlier, this would be effective if you know your students in the first place. Okay, considering that not all students are aware of their learning styles, and they may have more than one learning style as well. So there are a lot of tools which can help us to identify such, like pre-assessment quiz, that is plenty on the internet. A pre-assessment quiz that can help determine how to group your students. Next in line would be flexible groupings. In here, this approach no, to group work allows learners no, to to rotate in and out of temporary groupings, okay, whether pairs or small groups, no, to complement no, their own styles. So not just promoting differentiation, no, but also give them freedom no, to choose no, their preferred groups no, where they can collaborate with. Okay, and but with that also no, it would be more effective if you have pre-planned on it. Okay, although at first, yeah, you can look over no the student's learning profile no that can help you group and ensure the the students no to rotate in and out of the most appropriate groupings no that they might have. Now, although they have given the freedom, they also guided no, of identifying no, their learning style. So because in the first place you have pre-planned on it. Next thing is about independent projects. So in here, yeah, you can ask your learners to come up with their own project ideas and pitch them to you. So yung project must still of course meet the academic standards no so that students no should be open to your revisions or your refinements no, to make their outputs better. Okay, and also that would be a way on how to reach out no to your students no and that's a great avenue no to maximize no their learning capabilities. Okay, next is the student response systems. So these systems allow for real-time collaboration no? Helping educators better gauge students' understanding in order to differentiate instruction. So there are a lot of digital tools no, that could help us no, to formulate or to gather data for student response systems. No, like we can use no, a variety of perhaps gamification tools or online tools no there are a lot of platforms that we can use no yeah we have the Kahoot, we have the Nearpod, we have the Padlet no for real time assessment, and also yeah we have the most convenient the response system that we can use, and we have the Google Forms and the like. Okay, so also in line with this, you can create online quizzes, okay, that automatically assign differentiated follow-up activities or assignments based on their scores or based on their comprehension. Okay, next is and game-based learning. In here, educational games can be used across a range of subjects. Yeah, with this, it requires a lot of preparation on your part, not just by you know discovering the game, and then you suddenly make your learners play it without you navigating it first. Okay, so with that you have to look for platforms no, that allow you to monitor no your the students, and also it could generate reports, yeah, to assess no the learning and where are the gaps. Okay, also they can also promote self-paced learning. Okay, and some games no, will adjust according to the needs of the learners as players. So using games as a teaching tool no, not only engages the learners no, but also it could provide an excellent opportunity, no, for differentiation, no, through, the use of different levels of strategies that they can devise for their gameplay. Next is, of course, no, this is something, no, that we have to consider at all times. No, this is something, you know uh traditional, no, but adapting, no, to the needs of our learners. Yeah, the interactive discussions. So rather than being the sage on stage, yeah, and you can use digital tools, no, to facilitate interactive online discussions, roundtables, and also you can have some debates, no, and such. Also, yan, considering that nowadays, yan, we are having difficulties in terms of integrating, interactive discussions, no, with our learners, like specifically on virtual classroom, right? I know you're experiencing, no, the same thing, no, that you keep on talking at at all times, and then your learners aren't responding accordingly. Di ba? That's something, no, really tough, no, for us. Okay. So with that, at least we can devise, no, some ways, and considering, no, that a lot of learners, no, can still benefit from interactive discussions. Then also, yeah, we have the hands-on activities. Okay, so hands-on activities, it's like it's not feasible, no, during the online setup, no, but considering it's blended, no, at least, yeah, we can devise, no, a process on how is it done. Okay. Also, yeah, and it's something on the online modality that's really a hard thing to do, no, but it's possible naman, and it could inspire, and it could unleash creativity in your students, no, as they look for, like if considering you are on the online, you know uh platform, no, like you're in the Google Meet and in Zoom, having interactive discussion, but still you can inculcate, hands-on activities, no, with them, by maximizing, no, all the resources, no, that the both of you have, no, on their end. And there are a lot of household objects, no, that they can utilize, no, yan, to maximize, no, instruction, not just on the sciences, but also in other subjects accordingly. And especially it will appeal to the students, no, who are tactile, or kinesthetic learners. Yeah. So with that, and in here, and I would like to share naman, no, the role of assessment, no, in differentiated instruction. But still, differentiation in blended learning modality, no, requires validation, no, on our end. We have to identify whether our instruction is effective or needs opportunity, no, when being applied next time. So in here, the content, processes, and products you choose to incorporate in your lesson plans, should be based on, of course, the data, from the assessment of your learners, and also the related tools that they have utilized during the instruction. Like thinking about, no two students are alike, no two classes are alike, no, so instructional activities, no, should be flexible, no, based on, again, the needs of the students, and especially the class as a whole. Okay. In differentiated classroom, assessment is, no longer something no, that happens at the end of the unit, kasi that's the usual what do you call this, that's the usual learning procedure no, that we are practicing no, for a lot of times. Okay? But also differentiated classroom assessment no, can take place no, before, during, and after your instruction. So throughout the unit, and the learn or the teacher assesses the students' developing readiness levels, interest, and also approaches to learning. And then, with all of those data being gathered, they design learning experience na based on the latest understanding of the the learning needs of our learners or our students. So mentioning about before, during, and after the instruction, first thing that we have to consider as a role of assessment is what we are doing before, no, through pre-assessment. Okay, so for differentiation to be effective, again, yan, you need to determine first the student's understanding no, prior to a need or prior to a unit or of study. So in here, the pre-assessment na should be informal. Okay? Again, it should be informal, no? Providing qualitative feedback yan, to identify the learning styles or the learning preferences and interests, as well as you can identify the knowledge, the strengths, and areas to as opportunities or weaknesses for them. And there are a lot of ways on how it is done. Yeah, through online, yeah, we have here you can utilize platforms. Yeah, you can have online checklists, quizzes, self reflections through exercises, no, and again a lot of or a variety of pre-assessment tools. Also, yeah, the ongoing assessment or the assessment during the instruction. For us, it is important or it's imperative to continually assess and adjust, the content on a regular basis, considering that each classroom, no, as it's diverse, it's different. No, so we have to align it very well. And also we have to think about the evolving needs of our students. So in here you can have formative assessments like assignments, quizzes, exams or tests that can help to inform your instructional strategies. No, but they can also help you learn about students' learning preferences. No, so you can adjust your strategies accordingly. No, that's how important facilitating formative assessments are during instruction. And lastly, yeah, the aptitude testing. So in here, evaluate comprehension in ways that the test uh, different aptitudes, no, not just like the conventional written answers. Okay, although there are still, since we are talking about differentiation, that will still appeal to some students, no. But however, since considering all the diversity of learning needs, yeah, we have to formulate aptitude testing, no, other than paper and pen. Okay, and also, yeah, we can have or we can organize at least artistic or kinesthetic options, no, that can help your students demonstrate their understanding of the content in a different way, no, such as delivering a presentation, creating an art, yeah, performing a monologue or dialogue and such. But to remind you, since aptitude testing could be more of a performance task or a performance assessment, you have to to set, rubrics. Now, when is it done? And your learners should be oriented, no, and well informed about the ways on how you assess them. Okay, and to to formally end this, and since we are about to end our session, I'll leave you a quote. Okay, so in here it states that a teacher in a differentiated classroom does not classify herself as someone who already differentiates instruction, rather than that a teacher is fully aware now that every hour of teaching every day in the classroom can reveal one more way to make the classroom a better match for its learners. So when it comes to differentiated instruction, it's important to recognize that teachers aren't simply content area specialists or evaluators of students' work, no, but also we are designers of educational experience. And lastly, there's a lot to learn in this, a new paradigm in education that is creating currently, no? But as we move toward more personalization and inclusivity in the classroom, still, yeah, differentiation will help to meet the needs of all learners, and even in the digital world. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Kavibal, for making it up until the end. You're still listening and you're still with me. Thank you so much. And for you to, if you want to know more about, yeah, this content, or this topic that I have imported with you, I have here the references where I acquired, or where I gathered all the things that I have been shared. And with that, I'm so blessed, yeah, that I was able to at least, yeah, impart to you, my dear teachers, something new, and hopefully we can apply, and we can appreciate the essence of differentiation, regardless of the changing needs in education.
There we have it. In behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this eye-opening and insightful learning session. It is an honor to have you with us. And to all our Kavibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. The link is in the caption of this webinar. We encourage you also to subscribe and watch on our official Dibal Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.